South African economic fighters, the EFF, has strongly condemned the United States government for extending sanctions against judges of the International Criminal Court, describing the move as an attempt to undermine international justice and shield Israel from accountability. In a statement released this week, the EFF accused the United States of weaponizing sanctions against the ICC, calling the decision a brazen attack on judicial independence and an unlawful interference by a non-member state in the work of an international court. The latest sanctions imposed under the administration of President Donald Trump target 2 additional ICC judges. These judges were part of the panel that upheld the court's investigation into alleged war crimes committed in Gaza after rejecting Israel's legal challenge aimed at halting the probe. With the latest additions, a total of 8 ICC judges and at least 3 prosecutors have now been sanctioned by the United States. The measures include travel restrictions and financial penalties, although the full scope of enforcement has not been publicly detailed. The EFF stressed that the United States is not a signatory to the Rome Statute, the international treaty that established the ICC. The court functions as a court of last resort to prosecute individuals accused of war crimes, crimes of humanity, and genocide when national jurisdictions are unwilling or unable to do so. According to the party, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio justified the sanctions as a response to judicial decisions that went against Israel's attempts to block ICC proceedings. These proceedings include potential arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. The EFF argued that punishing judges for carrying out their legal duties sets a dangerous global precedent. It said sanctioning judicial officers for upholding international criminal law goes beyond an attack on the ICC and represents a broader assault on the principles of justice and the rule of law. The party also placed the sanctions within a wider geopolitical context. Relations between the United States and South Africa have recently come under strain, highlighted by developments surrounding the G20 process. South Africa was notably excluded from the 2026 G20 summit after the Trump administration abruptly ended the Johannesburg summit last month, a move that drew criticism from several quarters. Political analysts say the sanctions against ICC officials reflect a broader pattern of unilateral action and coercive diplomacy by Washington. The EFF echoed this view, accusing the United States of consistently using its influence at the United Nations Security Council to shield Israel from international scrutiny. The party pointed to repeated U.S. vetoes of UN resolutions critical of Israel, arguing that these actions have prioritized political alliances over accountability and justice for alleged violations of international law. In its statement, the EFF described the ICC investigation as a necessary response to what it called Israel's decades-long occupation of Palestinian territories and the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza. The party cited widespread civilian casualties, destruction of infrastructure, and mass displacement of communities as reasons why international legal scrutiny is essential. The EFF further accused the Trump administration of openly undermining international justice institutions at a time when global accountability mechanisms are under intense pressure. It claimed that the sanctions expose the depth of the United States' political alliance with Israel and its willingness to weaken international law to defend that relationship. The party concluded by calling on democratic nations and U.S. allies to reject Washington's actions, defend the independence of the International Criminal Court, and reaffirm their commitment to international justice and the rule of law.